This is one of the favorites I just finished. This is From Bayou to Abyss. This is the Examining John Constantine's Hellblazer. Now this is forwarded by Jamie Delano. Now people who know who he is, he's the one who took over and ran the Hellblazer line after Alan Moore departed from the Swamp Thing line. It talks about John's career from back in the day of Swamp Thing when he was created, how he was put in there. He was put in there just to mess with it. They put a guy who looks like Sting in there just to mess with the editor. And Alan Moore found out about it, and he was cool with it. He liked the character. He said, I want to put him in there. I would like to do something around him. He's a pretty cool looking character. I want to do something with him. Alan Moore then came up with the idea to call him John Constantine because he looked like Sting. They did a whole thing. And it came out, it was a big success. Hellblazer ran all the way to the end of 2009 with 300 issues. Then around 2011, Constantine was picked up for its own series along with Justice League Dark. Constantine would have his own series called Constantine, the New 52, where the words would be bleeped out, but you could still figure out what he was saying by reading the context. It wasn't that difficult because I figured it out easy. And then there was the Justice League Dark books, which were really cool to see Constantine try to lead a team. Now in the Rebirth, he doesn't have his own. He has his own series. He's back with Hellblazer, and the books aren't for mature readers anymore. They're still doing the bleeping out and everything. I've read every book ever published on John Constantine, New 52, old school Hellblazer, the Swamp Thing books. He's been the Rebirth. I've read Constantine. Constantine's one of my favorite characters. Probably my favorite male character of all time in DC Comics. It was Batman, but since I started reading Constantine, I can't put it down. It's kind of like being addicted to a drug. I gotta have him. And I read this book. It took me 3 weeks because I was savoring it. And the cool thing is, every writer that's ever written Constantine has an article, has an essay in here, writes a chapter, and which is so cool. And the real cool thing about this book, more awesome, is each chapter has pictures. So there's the very first Hellblazer book, and as you clip through this book, there's different little comics. So, even from the time where I found out that Swamp Thing, shouldn't be in there, Swamp Thing actually used John Constantine to have a baby with Abby by using his body. And he got so mad at Constantine being such a jerk to him that he went out and that's how ever heard of the tattoo that's a tree on his butt, how that got there? And it got there by Swamp Thing. He put it there to be kind of like a practical joke, or the ultimate thing he could do to him, because he's such a pain in the butt to him, so he put it on his butt. So it's a really cool concept. And they talk about John's biological daughter. He has a daughter named Telos. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Who's also Swamp Thing's daughter and Abby's. So, she has no connection really to the green as much as she does to the rot and the magic. And she takes out John. John, being the father, the kind of guy he is, he really tries to persuade her away from the occult. She does it anyway just to piss him off, But that's John's family for you. So this was an amazing book. I really loved it. This comes from Amazon. This book runs about $20. You could probably get it a little cheaper on Amazon. And there's all kinds of stories. The last chapter is all about a timeline. You talk about Papa Midnight. They talk about all the different movies, the television series that came out with Matt Ryan, who he plays He's the best Constantine we've seen. Warning, this is not for children. This book is an adult book. It has a lot of curse words listed in it. It does get very graphic in detail, even in the nudity pictures, and it talks about it. Constantine never really showed off his front, but he did show off his back end a lot. You never saw him show off his private area at all. That was something about the books I'm glad they kept clean. How the trouble they had getting Constantine to market. So everything's in there. You'll learn a lot. If you love Constantine and you think you know everything about the character, you don't know anything. You don't know much as you think. I thought I knew everything too. And then I started reading this book and I learned so much more than I ever knew before. And there's so much information. And I'm a huge Constantine fan. If you knew me in real life, my desk at work is covered in Constantine. I've got pictures of him all over my tablet, my phone, you know, I have all the books. I keep everything Constantine, and he is my soulmate when it comes to books, reading this stuff. I don't smoke, I don't drink like he does at all, but I do, like, I've been reading the occult books ever since I started reading Constantine to kind of understand his world. And a good thing to do if you're first time into Constantine and you don't really know much about British language, I would buy yourself a British to American dictionary, because he does talk a lot in British, and there's a lot of wording that you're going to want to know the answer to. And I have a friend who's British. He told me he's sick and tired of translating, so he bought me a book. So check that out. It's called From Bayou to Abyss, Examining John Constantine, Hellblazer.